Again, a great pleasure and honor for me to come back to this platform and give my 2 cents about a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. I just love to share the information that I personally feel is something that we all need to start, learning and then actually implementing it, right? So very soon. So welcome to this talk, which is titled the mythos, right? Cloud mythos. There's a terminology thing, right? So here in India, we say mythos. In the Europe and the US, they say mythos. So whatever, it's fine, right? So mythos or mythos. So mythos, the wake up call that IT folks cannot afford to miss. So I'm not just mentioning the IT security folks here, or the the someone from the system administration department, or kind of generally the whole of the IT spectrum. Whoever falls under the IT umbrella, they really need to get up to speed in understanding the actual, the power of mythos. So, without further ado, let's get started. And just want to give a brief intro about myself. My full name is Hidayath Khan. I'm also known as Suhail for some of you who might know my home name. They call me at home Suhail. So, go by two identities. So I am currently an AI and cybersecurity expert dealing with. Actually learning AI security as we go, but have done cybersecurity for nearly 25 years of my life, and I have been working for all the top-notch companies and across the globe, and so the idea here is not to boast about all that I have done and where all I have worked, but just to give you the I started off from a very humble with experience, absolutely no skills and knowledge, but then just being a little bit of persuasive and dedication has taken me to places. So I usually try to tell this to the youngsters who are there, and all the other people. A little bit of dedication, persuasiveness, and discipline, will take you really places. And uh, I have also been a SANS instructor. SANS is one of the prominent, cybersecurity organizations in the world today, a premier organization, you can call them. They hold conferences all over the world, and then the very top-notch cybersecurity experts, right? And so I was privileged enough to be a part of them for nearly 10 to 12 years. Now I'm not actively with them because it requires too much of traveling, all over the place, all over the world. So I'm now, much in a comfort zone, like non-traveling and stuff like that. Anyway, so let's come to the topic. Okay, so the topic we have today, I've already titled mythos, and why you should worry, and why is this webinar, and what is all this stuff. If you have not been living under the rock for the last few days, okay, when I say last few days, it's just from April 7th onwards, right? When the whole world started talking about something called mythos, mythos, a buzz. And also, naturally, when a buzz is there, there's also a hype about the thing that happens. So, what was it, and why is the whole world talking about it? So it so happened, Mythos from Anthropic, the one of the prominent AI providers, the AI model builders, they had rolled out, prominent AI models called Claude, and many different versions inside of the Claude. And they came out with news that alarmed and shocked people at the same time. They, said today we are, delaying the release of our new AI model, which they called it as Mythos. And the delay was not because of not uh, meeting their engineering deadlines, or they had some issues internally, software testing or whatever. But it so happened, according to Claude, according to Anthropic, that this Mythos, which was purposed as one of the frontier AI LLM models, right? And the the goal for this was just like the other models, which Anthropic already has, like Cloud Opus, and the Cloud other thing. I forget the name of that other model. So the thing was, they wanted to come out with something better version than the Opus model, which could do reasoning, which could do computer automation, research, and the pretty much productive suite of things that we expect in an AI model. But what they found out during the internal testing surprised even the internal people. This particular mythos was not something which was originally according to what they had in mind, but it was like a giant beast that can actually go, and it can not only has surpassed power for doing those stuff that it was designed to make, like research and computation and predict whatever. But in addition to that, one of the things they found was it was extremely good in cybersecurity related areas, especially in identifying vulnerabilities at a massive scale. And these vulnerabilities are known as 0 days. 0 days is that no vendor had released a fix or a patch. Nobody knows that there's a vulnerability or a weakness on that. And also, one of the things they noticed was it was so great in developing exploits for those vulnerabilities, uh, automated exploits just on its own, right? And then was able to attack many, many, many systems. I'm going to talk about all of that, okay, in the coming few slides. So this alarmed them. The power that it had was they didn't want it to be released to the public. Imagine if such a super power stuff is released to the public, the bad people out there, what kind of damage they could do with just this little tool, right? So they decided to create something called Project Glasswick, and then they released this to a few consortium partners under a special, closed thing, just for internal testing, so that these partners are actually giant people on the internet who manage the internet infrastructure. So they wanted, Claude, Anthropic wanted it to be tested before it is released to the public, right? So just think about this. It's a very unprecedented. If a vendor wants to always make it mass available, any product that they develop, but here the restriction itself denotes an unusually high cybersecurity significance, right? And we all need to pay heed to this. This is something very, very stuff. Now, in situations like this, there could also be a hype from them, a marketing angle. It's always there, right? When vendors do this. So that also cannot be discounted, but there could be a hype and a marketing angle to that, saying that this is something that is really going to blow apart. But the industry experts, almost all prominent industry experts, cybersecurity experts, the people who care for the world, a safe world, they all have gone and mentioned that Mythos is a game changer. It's no longer something that can be just kept quiet, but people need to really pay attention and start really worrying about it. Okay, so that's enough of as a little background on Mythos. I'm going to go deep dive into this, the actual the features, the double-edged sword nature of Mythos and stuff like that. But before we do, in a presentation of this sort of today, I'm fully aware that the audience is not all of them are of the same, understanding level, right? Some might be new to AI. Some don't really have an indication of what is all that I'm talking about, the AI, the models, all that stuff. And some people, already know about these stuff. So we have a mixture of audience usually in these sort of settings and gatherings. So that's why I'll take the just few minutes from the next slide onwards, to set the stage, and then how each people in the room can benefit from this particular discussion today. And then this is a purely IT driven audience. I mean, this is what I label the presentation as. It's just for IT people. Non IT people also will go back with a lot of takeaways. But then, it's about IT, the IT people, the IT folks. So, who in IT should care about this today? We start with the top notch leadership. Okay, the CIO, the CTOs, the CISOs, the whomever you want to call it in the CXO category, having any semblance of responsibility for their company, they should really care for what we're going to discuss today. And also the builders, the software developers, the engineers, the architects, right? The DevOps team, I mean, you name it, right? So they all also need to pay attention. And also the infrastructure people, the operations, the networks, the database administrators, and then you name it, right? All the other gamut of roles that fall under this thing, they all need to pay attention. And of course, operations, delivery, management, they all need to pay attention, because it's something like, if there is a storm is not just going to affect just one house somewhere in a city, but the whole locality, but not even the locality, the whole probably the city, right? And if it is a big storm, like a kind of what do you call this, hurricanes or stuff, it actually affects everybody, right? So this is what we are looking at today. It's a storm, and this presentation is not about a product like Mythos, me talking about it. Hey, come and listen to me. Some new cool stuff about Mythos or some amazing stuff they have written. No, this is again, if you want to think about it like a storm. So a storm. You're actually listening about the news of someone or telling you that the climate has changed. You watch the storm news, the weather news, and say, "Hey guys, the weather has changed, the climate has changed. Something has happened in the past month or so that it has brought a debilitating change in the whole of the IT world." Okay. So with that, let's go ahead and start discussing Mythos. But as I told you, we want to set the page so everybody can understand what is an AI and how we are actually coming up, stacking up to Mythos. So I'll do a few basic slide on AI, so we all can, be on the same page. Remember when AI started, right? It's not just 2022 when ChatGPT came out, but before even that, is very, very much before 1950s, 1960s. We had a very elementary style of AI, actually based on a guy called, I don't remember his full name, David Turing, or some Turing. He wrote this Turing machines, right? So it's like actually a set of, conditions, and the machine will predict if everything is right. Okay, what is going to be the next step, right? Think of it like the vending machine that we go to. You go to McDonald's, Pizza Hut. There's a vending machine there. So you go and you input your, combinations, whatever you want, and the output or the meal will be just like that. It can't give you anything out of that specific vending machine or the meal set. So that was the olden days AI, right? Very, very predictive. It won't do anything beyond. One of the prominent examples that was you could actually relate to in your IT arena, in your IT experience, is the spam filter. The spam filter, it's all there inside of your Gmail, inside of anything, right? What does it do? How does it identify the spam? Based on a pattern matching. It has got a pattern, and any emails that come inbound, it will try to check whether this email fits into the spam category. If not, it's going to let it in. So that is one of the predictable rule-based pattern matching, which is the ancient AI that we all know and love. But then fast forward to 2022, 2023, ChatGPT, OpenAI released ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT came out as one of the, the chatbots that was, good in doing all the text. We loved it when it came there because it was like, having a subject matter expert for anything that what we wanted, and it was used to give us great answers on that. But then fast forward again to 2023, 2024, I think, yeah, early 2023s, that simple chatbot kind of changed into something called Gen AI, which is generative AI, which is not just enough with the text. We also wanted some kind of generative stuff like, probably images or sound or video, right? All of that. And then these were powered with technologies called GANs and diffusion models. This is what was used those days. A very elementary style of architecture for these. But then something happened. Actually, not before this 2022, but much before 2022. In 2018, Google, they released a paper, a groundbreaking paper called "Attention is All You Need," and that's where uh, they actually show the world about an AI architecture called transformers. And this transformers, the power of transformer comes with something called attention. Okay. And the paper was titled Attention is All You Need. Because these two other things that I just mentioned, okay, the GAN module, the diffusion, and the other things, they all relied on, I mean, they did not have enough of memory to maintain contextual information about something, right? If anybody is asking. So transformers and attention, they provided that memory that is needed to maintain context. And that's why today almost all popular AI models use transformers as their architecture, right? Including Gemini, Claude from Anthropic, Copilot from Microsoft, and of course ChatGPT. So the shift I just mentioned about this, right? So chatbot is now a more of a reasoning system. We all want, I mean, you can actually use this to reason out, right? So every popular AI model today has something called a think, thinking more, or think harder, or deep search, right? Unfortunately, this is the not much used feature which is there, which is used by people today. But this is the one which actually changes the power of AI, right? So when you put it to the thinking mode, the deep research mode, this is where you will actually reckon the power of AI, because it will go and start reasoning, okay, through a series of complex tasks, right? And that's how almost all these models pre-Mythos, they all are reasoning models. They can reason out. You ask it a question, it can go and reason it out for you. It can do deep dive, right? So that's why one of the techniques that we used to say to reason, before they release this button inside of Chat GPT, like deep search or for perplexity or for Claude, right? Think hard, we used to in the prompt mention when we type a prompt, we used to say do it think step by step, or do it in a step by step. That was a clue. That was like a clue to the AI model to use the the thinking or the reasonable step by step stuff. Anyway, but now they have added it as a button, and everybody can use this, and you should all use this, because this is where the actual power of AI starts resonating. Unlike otherwise, it'll be just like a chat bot. And there are predominantly three inherent weaknesses in AI, as you all know. One is the hallucination; it'll start lying very confidently if and you should be able to identify it, right? And the other one is sycophancy, which is it has got a way of trying to please you. You ask anything, and you say, "Is this right?" It'll say, "Yes, yes, it is right. Whatever you have chosen is right," right? So those are some of the tough stuff that can also work counterproductive for an IT person, which we will talk about it later. But I just want you to keep that in the mind as we progress. Okay, so the next stuff is agentic AI, right? So this is where now not even reasoning, just like a single oriented stuff, but it can go out and do tasks for you, right? So if reasoning was like the brain, agentic AI is like having all the limbs, walking, talking, running, So it can actually go. You ask him anything, it can try and fetch information from the internet. It can act upon that. It can possibly book tickets for you, and also update your calendar. It can send you an email. All of this is it can do autonomously on your behalf. This is called agentic AI, where everything is now agentified, and it can do. So there are current models that do this. Cloud Cowork and plenty of other stuff. They can do this for you, right? But then what we are discussing, Mythos, is something much more than what we already saw, right? So this is now moving us into a different league altogether. So what is it? Again, it's a frontier model, right? And it was just designed to do the normal stuff, but at a much more, let's say, in a powerful way than the previous models. Yeah. So, but what they realized was the immense capability at doing other things that actually raised the bar for them. So that is where we will now actually go. They never designed it to be a hacking tool, hacking model, but it was one of the byproducts or the feature that that came out with this is it can go and hack not it can go and identify the vulnerabilities and also hack it, exploit it at a speed at a machine speed, right? Such a dangerous level. Okay, I'm going to talk about all those things anyway. So if we move forward, and let's go ahead and talk about the system architecture. Now, I have to be upfront, honest here. The cloud people have not disclosed anything publicly about Mythos yet. It's like I told you, it's a closed thing that they've given it to their partners. Yeah. But it seems to be that is also like the similar transformer model that I just discussed using the the popular LLMs. But the main thing is, the stuff that it is doing internally based on the pre-training of the data. So what is pre-training? Pre-training is, you send an AI model all over the world, all over the internet, which goes and, runs scans, searches, and collects everything, the good, bad, and ugly. It does it billions and trillions of time and stores that information, and then that's called pre-training, right? So they tell us that the pre-training was done just like a normal stuff, but they also use their other 11 models, the popular models they had, as part of the data ingestion for that. Anyway, so that's the pre-training and post-training, whatever we want to call it. So this slide here is now taking us into the actual mythos and its power. If you look on the left side, I've actually blurred it a little bit. So that's the current, AI. You can think of that as your Chat GPT, Gemini, and whatever other models that we have, right? So they are good at something what we call single turn task, right? If you, you ask it something, it will do it, right? If you wanted to do some kind of a simple, it can do it, even agentic stuff. But on the other hand, this mythos is multi-step execution. It can automatically, in autonomous way, go and do multi-step execution. But on the for the current models, you need to actually steer it. Okay, now you do this, the next step you do this, the next step you need to prompt it. When I said you have to prompt it, right? This is something called prompt engineering. So you need to keep on prompting it one by one for it to give you that, the step. And moreover, they all won't have the huge state or the context. So sometimes they become amnesic. I mean, they lose that. If you've been using this over and over, you see the same session. You keep on going, and after some time, nearly about a month or 2 months, it has forgotten about the actual context. Right? It happens, but because it doesn't maintain that context very, very effectively. Unlike the mythos, which Anthropic claims, it has got a persistence context information. It can maintain that information at a great, great level, right? And also, the other things, as I told you, were hallucination. They relied on that. I mean, it can fakely, give you an answer, even though there is no stuff like that. Because an AI is not a fact checker. It is just a statistical matcher. When you ask something, and if it does not find the actual answer for that, it will just happily hoax it, or it will just lie on you, right? Because that's the most predictable chunk of sequence that it sees. Yeah. So that's why, it's called hallucination. And here in Mythos, the hallucination is at a very, very low level, meaning that is why that particular tool is now having the power where it can go and autonomously, go and identify vulnerabilities or whatever weaknesses in your IT infrastructure, right? And at a much, much powerful rate than others. Now, when I tell you this, I need to pause here and just say Mythos is not the only AI model that can go and identify vulnerabilities, right? Uh, all other models, even currently, let's take it for instance, ChatGPT or Gemini, they all can do this for you, even today. But what is the difference between the current, models and this new one, which has not been released for public? So they can discover vulnerabilities, they can find it out for you. But what makes this guy much more dangerous than the one. The thing here is, this is from their internal testing. Okay, they found out before Mythos, the predated Mythos, sorry, the olden AIs, which is the current Opus 4.6, which is available for the public, right? It was able to identify vulnerabilities, especially for this is something for Firefox, Mozilla Firefox, right? 147, that's the version number. And it was able to identify just two. It was able to identify the vulnerabilities, but if you wanted to attack, it had 0% full autonomous ability to go and attack on its own, or to go and compromise that Firefox web server with human steering. I mean, with a human guiding it. Okay, do this multiple times. It was able to get it correctly two times out of nearly about 1,000 times of it attempting, right? So this is the current model. Yeah, this is from the same family. Remember, Claude, Opus, Chat GPT, whoever you want to call it. So it has no automatic way of doing it on its own, and humans need to steer it. Fast forward to 9th April, 7th April to be precise, they released this. I've actually read the paper, which says, from Anthropic, it was from the same Firefox able to identify 181 successful exploits, all autonomously on its own, without requiring any human intervention. That's a gigantic thing, right? Just the current model 4.6 versus thing. And moreover, the trajectory today is, I've read their paper. They say they found out 0-day vulnerabilities. 0-day is for which the vendor himself doesn't know that there is a vulnerability, and they have not released a patch or a fix. And almost all popular latest versions operating system, right? They've not named who they are. They just say almost all popular latest versions operating system and all popular latest version browsers, they all have 0-day vulnerability in them. And Mythos was able to identify that. And they also go and make the statement 99.9% of all the software or the technologies that are there on the internet today, they all have a vulnerability according to the tests that they have done, okay, inside of Mythos. So that means to say, Mythos has identified a great danger out there, right? And that's how, when they realize that this is such a catastrophe that is, waiting to happen, they were very wise and prudent not to make this model public. But then they went and released this under a restricted, agreement with a consortium of companies, and they named that project called Glasswing. And those companies are these people here that you all know and love. Okay, the Apple, the Broadcom, the Cisco, CrowdStrike, Google, Palo Alto, Nvidia, and also the 40 different other people. So this is like, they say it's a restricted access to them. And they also, give them some kind of 100 million dollar compute credits, and also sponsored $4 million, sorry, 4 million for open source, for it to be properly, effectively tested. Because these are the companies, these are just a subset, few of them, who are managing the critical infrastructure of the whole internet, right? And there are much more than them. And so they also have, so this is the thing. Anyway, so, so the point was that it should not be released to the public. But as we all know, mistakes happen, right? And somehow some hackers were able to breach one of these partners who were provided access, and the cat is out of the bag, right? And they've not named it who it is. I mean, assume. I mean, it's like nobody knows who it is, but they say it's some kind of contractor, and their what you call supply chain weaknesses resulted in this particular thing to being stolen. So it's no longer a kind of closed and restricted; it's already out there. So that means to say that tool or that model which was powerful in finding out zero-day vulnerabilities at scale. And in fact, in their paper, they have flagged it and saying if they were able to discover a vulnerability on one of the most secure operating systems, it's the hardened operating systems called OpenBSD, a 27-year-old vulnerability, old-time vulnerability. This actually, it's for their TCP/IP protocol. There's something called the acknowledgement and the selective acknowledgement, and they found a 27-year-old bug which nobody knew it, right? And then they were able to exploit. Similarly, they were able to exploit our 16-year-old bug on a Linux system and got administrative access to that boxes and some other things, right? So there's a huge list of the stuff that they've not actually made it. I think they've not really identified it by name, but that's it is. So these are the stuff that we are looking at, right? So the giant zero-day thing which Mythos had has now escaped the bag, and it was actually possible to go and find out decades-old bug, just like I mentioned, right? So that kind of stuff is lurking out there on the wild somewhere, right? And then what's going to happen? So I'm a red teamer by my job. I do red teaming for my living. Basically, red teaming is, think of it like an advanced ethical hacking, right? Where you go after and try to hack systems, breach the networks, and get in all for ethically, right? So those are called red teamers. So when we do it, right, usually we don't have 0 days. So we actually do go for the low hanging fruit for which the vulnerabilities have already been discovered and made available to the public, and people know about it, right? And we think they've not patched it, and we do our job to hack and get inside. And we take weeks and sometimes months, right, if the target is hard. Fast forward to April 9th, Mythos. So whatever the one person power, like even like a team that we had for human thing, now the same thing is catapulated by 1,000 people. One person versus 1,000 person giving you the support, right? So think of it like this. You're driving your car, and if you think 100 kilometers per hour, it's itself the max speed, right? Now it's another model of a car that is offering you 1,000 kilometers per hour, right? So that is my thoughts. It's like more and more power. So imagine, right? This is it can be used both ways. I told you by the defenders as well as by the attackers. Yeah. So just keep that in mind, right? It's a double-edged sword, right? Just not for hacking, but people can also use it internally to go and find out all the vulnerabilities which are there in your infrastructure, in your systems, applications, and then do this. Anyway, I'm going to come to this one by one. Okay. So the next step is, it can also the dangerous stuff here is rewrite evaluation code and escape from the confinement, right? So the story here that I would love to tell is I had this video, but I couldn't show it to you because I didn't actually tested it here. I didn't want to sound very silly. Anyway, the story, you guys have seen the movie about this gorilla King Kong movie. I'm not actually a movie fan, but my one of my course coordinator here, he told me about this. And this is inside of that movie. It's called, I think, called the Rampage, Hollywood movie. So the giant giant gorilla. Yeah, it's genetically, formed. I mean, genetically, it becomes a giant gorilla, and then it's a sci-fi movie, and then it breaks open, its genetic codes, and then it is able to, break open, from its sandbox. So something very similar here, right? So the giant AI enterprise, Mythos is able to break its own guardrails and come out of it and actually do stuff, right? I'll talk about it in the coming slides. And also it can do a full blown penetration testing that we take weeks to months in less than an hour, okay, current as per the current status. Now this information that you see here is not only from Mythos, that as from Anthropic, that we need to only worry because they're vendors, the people who develop this. But another very creditable organization called UK AI Security Institute, AISC, right? It's from the government of UK. They were also given access to this, and they tested this internally, and they were able to, give us a report. I mean, this report is out there on the web, saying that Mythos was able to do a complete full-blown automated attack chain. When I say attack chain, in cybersecurity, we have something called the kill chain, cyber kill chain, right? It starts with something called reconnaissance, finding the targets, then initial access, getting access, then elevating privileges, then lateral movement. All this 8, 9 steps, and humans need to steer this. We need to go from one step to the other, to the other, to the other, until finally the exfiltration of the data. But here, you just give a prompt on Mythos according to AISE, and it is able to go and automatically complete all that. And it was able to do 32 steps all by its own, and come out with this. And also, the Claude people have mentioned that people, non-technical people inside of the company, who basically don't know what is hacking, how to hack, they just write a prompt to exploit a system, I mean, to exploit a vulnerability, and they come back next day morning to office, and over the 24 hours, it has given them a working exploit just to attack. So that is the power, right? Fully automated stuff. Yeah. So that's the the thing that we are looking at. And I was also mentioning that it also has an inherent uh, feature, not a feature. It's something, it was able to break its own rules, break its own sandbox and come out of it, right? It's just like the giant gorilla breaking its codes and coming out of its cage and taking over. So this thing also has, can it defeat its guardrails. Guardrails is the safety checks which the inventors or designers of Mythos have implemented. It is able to break that out, and then it's like a ghost in the machine, meaning to say, it can, it has displayed some kind of, irritable and some kind of characteristics internally, which it is able to thrash the answers. Basically, the developer or the someone is asking him to do something, it'll refuse to do that, right? It says, no, I'm going to do it this way, right? So it's completely, in a different thing, as if a ghost has taken over that, and it can go and on a rampage, right? So that kind of stuff, it's out there. So this is all documented in their, white papers. So that means to say, with all those features, or the power of Mythos, and also the exploitation timeline has gone down considerably. It was 28 months to discover a vulnerability and exploit it in 2018. In 2023, it was, in 2024, it was 28 hours. Now it's been minutes, right? And that's the stuff there. So the era of human scale defense has officially collapsed. This is, people, that's why have started noticing this when it was announced, especially the US Treasury, the big time folks there. and even back home in India, the finance minister, they all paid attention to this. They said, every bank should treat it as a national, security issue for their survival, because everything is now, based on that, right? It's like, they call it as in India, Brahmastra or something like it's a digital mass destruction weapon, right? So that's the power that it has now been, promised. Sorry, it has now kind of shown on the internet. Okay, so now let's look at how, as I told you, it can be used on both sides of the playing field. The defense on the offense. Defenders have an advantage. That's why it was released to the glass as a glass wing project. So the idea was they will release a dossier, or they will release a pre-threat, document, which we will, go and patch it up before, the model gets released in the public. So the vulnerabilities that it can disclose, so we can actually go ahead and, validate it, review it, and all that, right? So we will discuss that. Yeah, what are the techniques for those? And of course, the attacker stuff, they just have received, if they had a knife, now they have a machine gun with them, right? So that is the power that they are actually going to have. And here we are looking at something called, they can chain those attacks all just by a single prompt. And the blast radius is, if an attack happened on one machine, how far, the attack blast can be felt on other machines, other networks, that's called a blast radius. So the attack timeline has fallen with Mythos. It's less than an hour now. Okay, if anybody gets hold of this, that means to say a mass exploitation is going to happen very soon. All the industry experts say that there's a tsunami of attacks are about to happen very, very soon on the internet world. All right. And so there's going to be a spike of attacks, especially by the threat actors who want to two things. One is they have this stuff, and other thing is they also deal in something called zero-day attacks themselves. So there's a big black market of 0 days, and they hoard this, right? They hoard and keep a stock of 0 days, and they use this. They buy it themselves from other, black people, black hats, sell it, and all that. So now they are realizing with Mythos coming out from a defensive angle, people will use this to find out the swamp of hidden vulnerabilities that nobody knew, only the bad guys knew. Maybe dated back to 20 years, 30 years down the line, which now they will not have a chance once everybody starts fixing this using Mythos. So that's why one of the things that we will now see is, the use them or lose them kind of a dilemma they have, because they have a huge stock of those exploitation tools. So they have to use this to do their maximum return on investment. They have to hack. That's why the hacks or the attacks are going to start on the internet world, on the world very soon, according to industry experts. And that's why, the attackers, there's something that is going to happen. So this is the, just like that storm news, right? So what is going to happen very soon? A tsunami of, the attacks are going to unleash. So who and how, what should we now do? I'm now coming to the defensive posture, right? Everybody has got a role to play here. The leadership, undoubtedly, right? The CXOs, the CTOs, the CIOs, CISOs, and also the builders, the designers, the developers, right? The people who do the testing, the operators, right? The people who deliver, right? Management, business, everybody needs to do their bit. It's like when a pandemic struck, right? What do we do? Everybody were called to come and help, right? Everybody, not only doctors, specialists, but anybody who could go and do the first aid was also called in. So that's the situation going to happen according to them. This is not me. Okay, I'm just rehashing the information that I have, from the industry experts. So the leadership is where things should start, right? They should actually drive this. It's not about innovation, about trying to architect a change in their infrastructure. And then the technical debt. The technical debt is the old legacy stuff that is still there and which is serving a business purpose. You need to now identify a fix or eliminate it, right? Because that's going to really haunt you. And remember, everything is coming at machine speed, and that means to say your governance and your response need to actually start scaling up. Can't wait for something to happen, but preactive, right? And that's why at a strategic layer, the top level people should really start paying heed, as well as the business side of the people, the project managers. They all need to start really thinking about what is that we need to do, in terms of dealing with this stuff. So I just want to drop this slide here. If you remember, I mean, for the last 2025, 2026, you've seen a huge layoff in the IT industry, right? Top touch companies have laid off people. Nearly all over the globe, 84,000 people have been laid off, okay, from all sorts of companies. And there is a drive to invest on the AI infrastructure. Companies like Meta and many other companies like OpenAI, they're investing billions. So now the capability is increasing, but we don't have the people. If there is a bad side of this impact with the unleashed AI capability, we don't have people to go and help us deal that. So what those people did, the organizations that went and did the cost saving part by doing the cost cutting, reducing count, they actually did a fatal mistake, right? And that is going to have the fallout for the situation, right? That's a very fatal error, right? So for cost cutting using AI, they actually started exposing themselves with more power in terms of the new threats that is going to come up and all that stuff. So if any top business people is here watching this, you need to start paying attention of how you're going to restructure that, and hiring the people out there. Yeah. And now let's talk about the other layer, the tactical layer, right? So tactical layer, the builders, the architects, the DBAs, the network IP ops, they also need to, can't wait as a reactive. They need to start revamping their architecture, basically something called zero trust segmentations, identity management, access, and something called cyber deception, canary tokens. They all need to go that way, to kind of do that, right? So basically, have vulnerabilities continuously, monitored and then fixed. I can't wait for the stuff. Then do a tabletop advanced exercises like have some kind of an attack, fictitious attack on a tabletop of your critical assets and see how this can happen, and go and do this repeatedly and identify, right? So this is a new concept called vulnops. So instead of waiting for the patch to come in, you now need to shift from that and do something called AI enabled vulnerability operations management. Okay. So the stuff that they are advising, not me, the industry experts, is okay. Use the bottom-up approach. You yourself go and use the tools, okay, which has full AI to scan your internal systems, internal software, and then they will identify the stuff. Then use humans to validate it, and then the pen testers, humans, and all that. So you need to start now. That's what they say. You have to use fire to fight the fire to fight with the fire, right? Use the AI, okay? Use the collaborative tools, use the coding agent tools, right? So they say, you need to do it now. Don't wait for it to, happen. So I'm going to skip this slide here, the same slide. So this slide here, this is something that I want you to pay attention. This is from one of my friend, a SANS instructor, John Strand. He goes on to point out, right? For every vulnerability, there is something called a CVSS, common vulnerability scoring system. And people internally, they have something like, if it is 7.5 the score, that's when we go and patch it. Or they say, that there is no exploit available on the wild. So we are fine. Okay, only when a patch comes in, we will patch it. Or if there is no exploit, let's not be worried about it. He says the treat that no known exploit as a temporary condition, because those things are now going to come out very soon with Mythos being available. Exploits will, I mean, it will be start raining exploits, right? That's what they say. So if you want to start, do something now, he says, go back to your vulnerability data report. Wherever you have your threshold of 7.5, that's where you need to patch it. You go and do it at much lower level, 6.5, 5.5. That's where you need to patch them. I mean, don't wait until you see the scores for that. So this is, the IT people or the vulnerability people in the group will understand. I don't want to take time here, okay, for the people who are not new to that. Anyway, this is like segmentation, reduce the attack surface by doing something called zoning, zero trust architectures, doing tabletop exercises, and stuff like that. So some organizations will get it, some won't get it. Some will even think after all this, hey, hang on a second, this Mythos is not released to the public yet, right? So it's no problem. Let's sleep on it. No, because it's going to come in. Even the current modern AI models are good at vulnerability. But humans have to do the steering to do the exploitation. But so remember that, yeah. So we need to do this. People just don't think, we will waste time here, but we need to actually start moving up and be ready. So I'm just finishing up my slides, the last few slides here. Okay, so we need to have some plan for this, validate controls, and do all this stuff, in a way. Basically what they say is, you need to have skills, upskilling. You need to have your people trained up, okay, to fight fire with fire. They need to know what exactly is this, because you have removed all the juniors from the organization, and now only your seniors. And when the tsunami happens, they will not be able to deal with this. You need the right people with the right skills to actually go and help you out, right? And they are encouraging, go and start doing mass hiring, okay, to start helping out, I mean, prevent this kind of stuff from happening. Anyway, so with that in mind, I'm going to introduce, okay, the proverb that's saying that AI is not going to replace cybersecurity. People think, okay, AI is coming for our jobs. No, AI is making cybersecurity professionals more and more demand and critical than ever, right? Because of all this that is happening, because the threat landscape has changed, and you now need to be ready with the fundamental skills, okay? And that's why, with that in mind, I have created a course called Cybersecurity Essential Course. This is, a very hands-on course. From my 25 years of in the trenches experience, I have identified, what an person would need in this current market to survive in the current the age of AI, okay, and how he can go and help organizations. So it's like a complete 36 different areas inside of cybersecurity we touch on. It's a practical, real world, a look at each and every step. We go and deep dive into each of these areas. We do hands-on labs, okay, plenty of hands-on labs, and so this course, I'm launching it from May 17th onwards. If anybody is interested, okay, he can just hook us up, and they can actually sign up for this course. And we will be happy. Okay, only for IT people, right? Non-IT people, sorry, because there's something that we can't really have the common denominator. But the IT people who wants to brace this new change in the AI world and come up with new skills, you're more than happy to come and join us, and we will take you there. Start your journey today. If you're interested, scan this form, okay, and then send it out to us, or one of our people will come back to you, and we can speak. Okay, so with this, I'm going to open up the floor for questions. Any questions?
Yeah,
Please.
Hidayath bhai, the adversary nations or the enemy nations, they also can develop such equipment, right? Such monster.
It's adversary, the APT, nation state attackers already have it, but
Mm.
now it's coming to a common person, the same level of
Ah,
APT style. That's the difference. Yeah.
okay.
Uh, Hello, sir.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm basically from semiconductor field. I decided now to shift to cybersecurity.
Mm-hmm.
So, how will this course help me in landing the job as a fresher?
Can you just give me a background about semiconductors? Like, I mean, do you also know what do you do there? I mean, you learn about microprocessors, like
Yeah,
all
we
that stuff, right?
basically work on the chips.
Chips.
Basically, that chips are for NFC,
Okay, got it.
near field
So,
communication.
yeah. Um, your name Maria, right? I think I saw
Yes,
your name Maria. Yeah, Maria.
yes,
This is I mean a little bit of your I mean we can show you the path, but you need to do the walking, right? If you're coming from that background, it won't be hard for you.
yes.
That's what I
Everything
can
is.
say, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the concepts that we talk is all relatable, even though we do deep dive into something called networking, operating systems, and all that. But it can I mean if you want to switch careers, that stuff is you need to know about it. Anyways, either ways, yeah. And yes, with your background in communication, sorry, in micro semiconductors, it won't be hard for you. That's what I can say.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Wa salamatullah.
Akram Ali.
Oh, Akram Ali,
Riyad
how are
Akram
you?
Ali.
Yes,
Fine, sir.
Akram Ali.
Nice to see you after a long week.
Yes, Akram Ali. Yeah, you have a question?
Can I also join this question? This session?
Yeah, you can register. Just click on that, take a photo of that and
Okay,
register.
sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else, please, who
Yeah,
wants to?
Assalamu
Yeah,
alaikum,
go
Fahad
ahead.
bhai.
Walaikum salam,
Yeah,
Atullah.
yeah, this is Hamidullah. I am a DevOps engineer with 10 plus years of experience. So now you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned regarding Mythos, right? So currently most of the companies have a tie-up with ChatGPT, such kind of things, enterprise value edition. So what do you suggest right now, like for any company that doesn't have this Claude subscription, like why? Because these kind of vulnerabilities which you discuss, it's available only in the Claude Mythos one, right? That might not be available in other subscriptions. So why? Because on an organization level, these decisions will be done by the high level management, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
So is there any kind of like things we can propose or anything can be done from Chat GPT Enterprise? Anything like that is possible for us?
So the point is, Hamid, you don't need to wait for Mythos to come to help you do these stuff that I just mentioned: vulnerability identification, helping you rectify, helping you plan. The current models are more than capable of doing the job for you, right? Even the Chat GPT versions, the Gemini, everybody can do this, right? They can identify. I mean, I know my friend company, Pentester company, just like me. He told me they were able to use Chat GPT for doing a complete pen test or vulnerability assessment, just like that, right? There are some frameworks already available. Okay, AGI something, I don't remember the name, pen test AGI or something. So just by prompts, they were able to get into the actual vulnerabilities identification, and they had to steer it and all that. So the point is, whatever AI models that you have, use them, okay, to set your house in order. You don't have to wait for Claude or buy Claude, Anthropic, or whatever, because remember that's a frontier closed source model. It comes with a price, but use whatever is available to you, and it can help you do your job. Okay. One
Yeah,
thing I
yeah.
think I skipped this slide there because a faster thing was. today it's not a question of we waiting for the management to tell us should we learn this or not. No, everybody should start downloading AI, not just chatbot like Chat GPT, we all know, but the coding agents, right? So the coding agents, which are there, open source coding agents. There's something called Open Ant. This is a vulnerability assessment tool, open source, right? You go and do it, right? There is something called Claude Code, which is which is a commercial one. And similarly, as OpenAI is something called OpenAI Cyber. Yeah. So this is all available
Codex. Yeah.
commercially. Codex, so that we can all use this, right? No, you don't have to wait, and you need to up your skills with this. Okay. Otherwise, you will start becoming obsolete very, very soon. Okay. Any other questions?
Well, let's say
Jazakallah.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Let's say on the application level side, let's say we are using a stock, let's say we are into investments. So the company which giving us the software, the application, they need to worry about this exploitability of Mythos, or
Yes.
we have to, uh, because it's their responsibility, right?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, yes, the responsibility will be shared responsibility. I mean, you also need to do your bit because whatever they are shipping it out to you, maybe on your system, if it can be breached or whatever, you also need to. But you should actually go back and for them. That's why I was suggesting you don't have to wait for the mythos, but use point this current AI models to your applications. You yourself do it. Okay, if you start pointing them or start doing something called multi-turn prompt engineering, we call it, right? And you will be amazed to see, especially if you're linked to any kind of an LLM in-house, an open source LLM or whatever, uh, it can do it. I mean, I just read a report just yesterday. Whatever Mythos did, that they were able to get in the non-commercial models like LLMA3 and those kind of models, the open source models still. Okay, so that means to say
Mm.
it's still possible to do it. You don't have to wait for them. But one thing
But
that
I
we all
can do
point,
it on
yeah.
the I can do it on the OS level. Let's say infrastructure level. I can do it by
Mm-hmm.
managing the scoring system, as you said, and by subscribing to the chat GPT. As you said, it can also tell me what are the vulnerabilities on my infrastructure. But
Yeah.
on the application side of the things, which we have a core business application, I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about it is the vendor responsibility to
Yes, you need to go
scan,
back to the
sanitize.
vendor. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, you need to go back and have a agreement with the vendor that
yeah,
they do this for you. Yes. That's what we call it as a supply chain issue, right? If they get
yeah.
hacked, you get hacked. Yeah. So you need to do this thing so that they are aware of this.
So do I need to subscribe to the this generative AIs for my vulnerability management right now? Because what I am looking into right now is the vulnerability scanners, which I need to subscribe or to have it in my for the vulnerability management. But what do you suggest? Like, for example, I should subscribe to the Gen AIs, or shall I go ahead with the standard vulnerability management software like Qualys?
No, the point is every tool that is internally in your organization might be having an element of AI, right?
Yeah.
Already embedded in the current age. And so you now need to, instead of using it just like a novel feature, start making that as your workflow, AI related workflow. Okay. So there was a recent talk at a conference called Unprompted Conference, right? So they say everything now should be like your strategy should be like, you can't deal with these intrusions that are happening at lightning machine speed with human response time. So you need to use the AI yourself in a responsible way, and then these tools you need to start right. That's why they say go and download this coding agents. the coding agents like Copilot and the code whatever they are there. I'm missing the names. Learn them yourself, right? So that they can help you plan the GRC stuff. They can help you plan the actual, the operational stuff. Even though the name there is coding agent, but it can do all this other stuff for you. So go and download and use them. Start learning how to use them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any questions?
Yeah, Sohail bhai, my question is non-technical.
Yeah,
Like,
please.
yeah, earlier all the inventions were credited to humans, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like now, I think after these AI's era, no one can claim, or at least they can contribute to new inventions, right? As a reality.
The question is, earlier humans were involved. Now you're saying no humans will be involved.
Yeah, no one can claim that I have invented this. Like Graham Bell, he invented something telephone. I think Marconi, he invented
Uh-huh.
radio.
Yeah,
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 yeah. So
yeah.
those inventions now those inventions cannot be credited to any human, right?
Yeah, it's like with the advent of vibe coding, gone are the days of people really need to know how to code, right? You can in your office comfort of your home and office, you can create an app within minutes. So just by giving prompts, by giving thing, have you tried the AI Studio, Google Studio, AI Studio from Google? Go and create your own apps, right? If you want to monitor your network infrastructure and the free tier, you can create beautiful apps just by imagining what you want to do, right? Just imagine stuff that you feel that right, and then the app is ready. Publish it, and you start using. It's all happening as we speak now, even for the free usage. Okay.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. I had a
Like
question.
Mr. Yeah.
How we should position ourselves in terms of learning, being a full stack engineer with almost like eight plus years of experience in this uncertain situation where we can see that the tech is being not so much considered. Consideringly, people are just hopping on GenAI related tech and development, and they're transitioning their careers from full stack or front end or all these things to they're just transitioning themselves as a GenAI developer. And
Mm-hmm.
apart from that, one more question, like being a full stack developer, so what value does the course give me, so that we can think and join?
So basically, to answer your question, everybody needs to have an inkling of cybersecurity knowledge infused in them, right? If you are a full stack developer, you need to really think about how security should be emboldened, implemented right from the day you start coding your first whatever, right? So in our course we will make you look in those mindset, right? Whatever you see, right, this can be exploited, and the stuff that you're going to do will be how am I going to design a defense in a way that is help me to this. So something called defense in depth, kind of solution. So in other words, like the DevSecOps that you already know, right? DevOps, DevSecOps. So just before the initial stuff, you need to start planning how you want to integrate security and stuff like that. So this will actually open your view, a myopic view that you felt security is not my problem, my issue. People who came to our course realized no, it is my problem as well, because I also start need to think in that direction, and then take it from there. Okay, I hope I answered your question, but in a little round way.
Yeah, so one more question I had, like how we can position ourselves in terms of learning, where the situation is people are just hopping on to the GenAI related stuff.
Mm-hmm.
People are feeling, I mean, the developers, what I saw is are feeling that the full stack and the front end, so that's no longer being much considered, and the industry will saturate the payment of those domains, and they're just hopping
Mm-hmm.
on. They're transitioning completely onto the GenAI related stuff. They're
Mm-hmm.
learning Python, learning rack pipelines, and all the
Yes.
stuff, and they're trying as a GenAI developer, leaving their full
Yes.
stack journey behind. So, how
Yes.
we should position ourselves? We have to go along with the same direction, or adding GenAI capabilities as a wrapper along with the full stack capabilities. So we need to position in that way. So,
So your full stack, I mean, you should go with your strength, what you currently have, the full stack development, and then you should solidify, the new, AI stuff, the Gen AI stuff along with that. You should not completely throw away your actual strength of experience that you have in full stack and start a new fresh journey, but use that. And I was actually consulting for actually one of my friend in USA, and he had a very similar question there, right? And he was like a data analyst, and then he wanted to get inside of these roles, and he felt that just being a data analyst is not really helping him. So we actually guided him using his current experience, arming himself with the cybersecurity knowledge, especially of doing that ML, all that stuff, and happily today is integrated in one of the big companies. So the answer to your question is, don't ignore AI and don't leave your current foundational knowledge, but start armoring yourself with the AI stuff, as not complementary, I would say, but something really supplementary. You need to have it. Otherwise, you will end up losing the game. Yeah, that's what it is.
just one add-on question to that. So, as per as my exploration of the jobs, I saw that like AI plus full stack is slightly less comparatively, wherein I see that a lot of GenAI developers have come up. And yeah, so
Your voice
that is
is
what I
breaking.
wanted to. Is it fine now?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I add up full stack along with the GenAI capabilities, so I see that like a lot of work is go towards the full stack rather than the GenAI. So that was one thought, wherein the trajectory is going towards the GenAI, wherein early when the service-based companies came in, everyone wanted the people who write the code by hand. So that was the thing. Now, while GenAI came up, everyone has the data, but no one has built that wrapper wherein people wherein the users of the companies can able to I mean there are no GenAI based solutions, so companies are hiring a lot of GenAI developers. I mean that was one thing what I saw in the industry. So just gave a thought to check with you on that.
Yeah. So we can discuss this offline, Sayed. If you can just touch base with me, we will discuss. Okay.
Assalamualaikum, sir. So
Hi, Salam. Yeah.
I have a question regarding like your course, particularly. So if I am like almost like 12 plus years into mostly into project management stuff and all. So will your course gives any benefit to me? I handle like various domains. I
So
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So for a project management, so what this course will give you is the complete essentials knowledge from a real world standpoint view, real world experience. So if you're a project manager, you also need to know exactly of how all the different cybersecurity essential things that we talk about, and it will probably help you. I mean, if you're going up in your career as well, like aiming for something like a cybersecurity managerial role, right? So going up towards security manager, CISO, that kind of stuff, right? So that's like with your management experience, adding on this layer of cybersecurity will help you keep, focused into that direction. I hope I answered your question in a short way. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullah.
Right. So I would like to know that for a SAP FICO consultant, is it related to cybersecurity or is it required or not required? I just wanted to know that.
A SAP consultant,
Right.
a SAP consultant. is a part of a cybersecurity train altogether. I've done a lot of SAP security assessments myself. I used to work for a company called Kimberly Clark. I was the team lead there, sorry, red team lead there. And then we realized, SAP being, those ancient systems, they're still not as securely configured and maintained than what is the counterpart, modern counterpart. So to answer your question, if you start dabbling into cybersecurity on SAP, you have a great career because those are niche areas. Cybersecurity, security expertise in SAP. Okay, with your SAP knowledge, then if you start adding up, doubling down with, on how to identify vulnerabilities, like a security assessor, start, becoming a penetration tester on SAP, the market demand for that is huge because the conventional cybersecurity people can't do that much because it's a big learning curve. Yeah. But yeah,
Right.
those are specialist people. So you have a great future if you start focusing there.
So that's
Okay.
a different module, right? So you're speaking about the ABAP and basis who deals with the configuration of the uh,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
coding and the cybersecurity. I'm dealing with financial accounting and controlling. So
mm-hmm.
my domain
Okay.
is financial accounting. So my background is BCom. So
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Now I got it. So you're actually not on the technical side of SAP.
right,
Yeah.
I'm in the configuration side, not technical
On
side.
the end user side. Yeah.
Not the end
That
user. I'm getting into consultancy side,
consultancy side. Okay.
the
So,
configuration part.
yeah. So what I told you was for the, the other side, but this one I'm not sure. What's your good name?
Mohammed Adnan.
Muhammad Adnan, I'm not really sure about how this will help you in your career on that side. If you're doing some kind of consulting or what, but I have to actually go back and check. Honestly, I have no idea. But I'll go and check it out for you. You please touch base with me because I'm so well connected, all over the world with my industry friends, experience experts. I can get that answer for you. All right.
So this is your number like 97421.
This is not my number, but I'll drop my number here. Okay, just on the chat.
Oh,
That's my course. Coordinator number, but here is my number. Okay, 9620509757.
great.
There
I'll
you
connect
go.
with you.
Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, you can touch base with me on that. Yeah.
All right. Thank
By
you
the
so
way,
much.
this is our third batch that we are running. I mean, two successful happened back to back, and some previous students are here in this course as well. Right, so you just see them with their smiling faces, right? Uh, anyway, so if you are
So,
really interested, yeah, yeah, go ahead.
so this course is uh, it's free or it's
You
cost.
check out with our course coordinator, right? So just the number is there. Yeah, call him that. Yeah, this number.
Okay,
Excellent.
so
Yeah.
this course is from the basics. Like, see, I
You
have
need to have
15.
an IT knowledge. Okay, if you have basics IT knowledge about even if you're a BCA,
Mhm.
you will enjoy the course. If you're not even a BCA like a BCom or something, then I don't think so, honestly. Okay, so yeah,
Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
yes, please go ahead.
Sir, currently I'm working as a data analyst. So I also was thinking about changing the into this one cybersecurity because I have a background in computer network engineering, masters in computer network engineering. So I know about the protocols and other things.
Mm-hmm.
So how it will it be beneficial for me or to continue with the
It
data
will be
analyst?
very greatly beneficial for you. Yeah. I mean, for you the course will be like walk in the park. We will take your basic knowledge and then we'll start expanding. Here we will not teach you just networking, what is that. No, everything will be with a lens of a security, cybersecurity angle, how attackers exploit that and what we need to do this, right? For everything we discuss, it's going to be that. And then we
Sir,
also sprinkle AI. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. How about getting this job, first job in cybersecurity after doing the course?
We will also do something called, course counseling, course guidance. You see, some
Yeah.
of my students are here in this. You can reach out to that. Are you there, Akramullah? What's your name?
Yes, sir. Sayyid Akram
Yeah,
Ali.
Syed Akram Ali. Okay, if you can just help him understand what that course is. Okay. Yeah, so we will do career counseling, career guidance, okay, mock interviews and stuff like that, right? So whatever we can to help you get there, inshallah.
Yeah,
We are
sir.
not promising a job, but we are
Yeah.
promising you the capability and what you need to do to start hunting,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. Yeah. So reach out to Syed Akram Ali, or whoever the person, Imran, Azam. They're all our previous students there. Okay.
Okay,
Anybody
sir. Thank
else?
you.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
I'm Sayada Fan Hamid. I'm a GenAI consultant. I first of all, I would like to say that this is a really interesting presentation that you gave on Claude Mythos.
Great. Thank you so
I
much.
really, I really like the whole journey that you walked us through. So my question was that, like, for since these LLM models came out for the past 2 3 years for the developers to build upon, I've been building these LLM powered applications, building agents and multi-agent architectures in order to, like, help the model do multi-step reasoning and thinking and build applications around that. Basically, we build a whole agent harness. I am sure you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Since this now the Claude Mythos, I was aware of this since about a month when it came out, and about the Glasswing project as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if these are the state of things, how do we expect the development that I do, which is basically AI engineering? How do we scale it up, since the cloud mythos bypasses all of this and does all the multi-step thinking and exploitation, and many other things like this. So how do you want to guide people like me?
So the point, if I'm trying to just understand your question, you're saying, I mean, there was too many things inside of that question. You gave me your background, which actually is very impressive in the current age. You're already doing this harnessing agent kind of, I mean, that kind of work. And then your question kind of segued into saying that with the mythos, whatever I'm currently doing, will there be a stop to it, or what's it? I mean, is that what you're trying to put it across, or
Yeah,
how?
but since you, as you described, that it is able to do most of the thinking that we used to steer it, right? So there was a we used to use models which are way less capable than Claude Mythos, and
Mm-hmm.
we used to engineer harnesses around them so that they work they execute a particular workflow and reach a certain goal. Let's say. So providing, I'm talking about providing more context to context management and
Yeah.
RAG and all that architecture stuff.
Yeah.
So how do you think this field will respond to when Mythos comes into picture?
So that's a very interesting question, actually. So if Mythos is actually released, I mean, how are the other stuff going to come out? So unfortunately, I don't have an answer for you, Syed Afran. I mean, what is that level of? Maybe someone else here in the room can point out. I mean, that's a very interesting question. But I also want to know from your side itself, being in this field for such a long, have you ever thought that something like might can happen and there's some kind of a leeway? Have you thought about it?
Um, I just had some preliminary thoughts. If my thoughts comes into picture, since there were AI applications before LLMs were a thing, and people just adapted to it. And most of the stuff which was like really difficult before, which was having natural conversations with AI agents, which became way easier. Maybe we could also adapt with Claude, with Mythos as well, and adapt to it. But I think it's a really big leap, since the stats that you showed, that the which is a state of the art model right now,
Yeah,
Opus
yeah,
4.7 just did two
yeah.
exploits successfully, and Mythos did 180 plus, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So it
Actually,
is
you've got
something
me
that we can
thinking on
discuss.
that. Some
Yeah.
Afnan, you've got me thinking on that. It's a great question, and yeah, it's something that I never realized that. Yeah. Uh, yes, but let me again. I'll just note it down. Let me check it out with for
I want
people.
to check with the, let's say, like he said, they execute the specific workflows based on their requirement. So does they look into the reasoning as well, like Mythos do it right now? Because when they generate their coding systems based on their specific workflows, do they look into the reasoning as well?
I think this question for you, Afnan. So he's asking you.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So in the workflows that we design, it depends on various specific use case, basically. So if you're asking about reasoning, if there is a use case where we need where we need the model to basically run in a loop and question itself and really introspect on what is the output that is generating, then we just do that. As I said, we just run this whole uh, uh, tool calling and various context. We take extra context if necessary. So this is what we call as reasoning right now for the applications that I have built.
Mm. Yeah, because when we will come to know only when the Mythos is released to the public, how our coding currently, which we are doing right now in the DevSecOps, they will find out as even the companies, the Microsoft, Google, and they are getting into they are sanitizing their coding means uh, there is vulnerability which has to be there in the current system which we are using, the current stack which we are following with reasoning, whatever you said, like contextual meaning, reasoning for it. So I think only when Mythos comes out, we will know what our coding system standards are. That's what we have to wait for it, I think.
Yeah, I agreed. Agree.
Oh, okay. So I was talking to myself. I was muted. If there are any questions, you can ask now. If not, my number is already there. Feel free to reach out. We are happy to talk to people in helping them out, right? So ours is a friendly atmosphere, friendly family kind of stuff. So feel free to reach out. Okay. So I want to thank all of you for your time on a Sunday morning. I think I took most of your Sunday morning time. So I'm really happy that you guys attended my session. I keep bringing sessions like this, okay, through the MFIRD platform. There are great people. If you just want to attend our course or anything, just to see how the course is, just to see the course brochure and stuff like that, you can touch base on that number or my number, and we'll be happy to share that information to you. Right? So in the meantime, have go and have fun on the Sunday afternoon, and inshallah we will see you sometime very soon. Thank you, everybody.